I'm Bobby, and I've escaped the Critter Cave. I'm in downtown Springfield tonight in front of Nathan P. Murphy's at 218 South Campbell. And this is the home of Grave Tales and Supernatural Parodies, presented by A Class Act Productions. Thanks to Corona, we've been unable to perform since our February show, when we did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But that all changes November 27th and 28th. We'll be back with a brand new show for Supernatural Parodies at 7:30 and Grave Tales at 9:30. So don't miss this opportunity to support the arts and a local small business at the same time. I'll put a link down in the description so you can go and reserve your tickets, because seating will be limited. Each month I'm going to spotlight one of our performers or writers, and this month we're going to start off with executive producer George Cron. We'll put that interview in right now. Alright, cave dwellers, we're here with the man in charge, executive producer George Cron. How are you doing tonight, George?
Oh, just another day in paradise.
Fantastic. So, I know you've done everything from the small stage to the big screen. What would you say was your favorite role of all time?
My favorite role of all time is a character named Rufus in a trilogy called the 1959 Trilogy. And it was written by a wonderful playwright, Lee Wilhelm, a dear friend of mine who grew up in Stone County. And while we both lived in New York City, we did a lot of plays. And that trilogy, which is 3 plays, one called Pie Supper, one called One-Eyed Venus and the Brothers, and the other called Blackberry Frost, all dovetailed together into a complete story. And I really like those plays very much.
Nice. That sounds cool. How long have you been in the show business?
Oh, let's see. Well, let's see. I graduated in 74 from my BFA. Took a couple years off and tried an advertising business. Went back to grad school and got my MFA in acting. And shortly after that, I moved to New York City. And so that would have been around 1980, I guess. I don't know, I probably done some other things here and there, maybe at a buck or two, but
yeah,
really pursuing it as an acting career was around 1980, I believe.
Okay, cool. So what might we have seen you in on the big screen?
Oh, a few films. If you don't blink your eyes, most of the work I did while I was there in New York City was like extra work or a bit part here and there. Goodness gracious, I hate to even mention those because they're such stinky little things that they don't really amount to much.
But they all add up. It all adds up in the end.
I don't know about that.
Do you have any upcoming projects?
Well, let's see. I thought I had a Christmas movie coming out this Christmas. I still may. The rumor was that it was coming out on the Hallmark Channel, but I find things have changed, and the film is now being bought by the Lifetime Channel, and it could be this Christmas or next Christmas, and the whole title is going to be different. So, I did do it. I honestly did, but we'll see where it ends up.
All right. Well,
did a commercial here a few months ago for what is it, American National.
Right. So, how long have you been doing A Class Act Productions? When did you start that?
Well, let's see. I believe it was around 2006. I had, at that time, I had stopped teaching at MSU, and kind of like, I don't know, I still want to do theater and things, and decided I had dabbled in producing in New York City, nothing extremely serious, but hung around a few producers. So I went, well, maybe I'll do something. Actually, it started teaching some acting classes, and the trouble with teaching acting classes, especially young or inexperienced actors, is getting them to memorize things. And so I grew up with a wonderful teacher, a professor named Leslie Irene Koger at MSU, who taught us about reader's theater and oral interpretation, which is using scripted material that you kind of glance down at, that you're familiar with, but you present. And so I decided we'd do some reader's theater or oral interpretation kind of things. And somebody happened to mention to me, you know what, it'd be fun if somebody took a script of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and did that. And so I went, do you think it'd work? And I went, yeah. I didn't even know the show. I didn't know Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So they got a script, and we did it. And we've been using Jeff Jenkins' Skinny Improv to do acting classes in. He was nice enough to let us use the space on off nights. And he walked by and saw the show, saw what we were doing, and said, that's pretty funny. Maybe you'd like to do a late night show after our improv show. And so I asked the actors, and they went, okay. And so we did that. And by the time we did the first one, we had other actors in the community who were Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans. So I said, I'd like to kind of do one of those. And I thought, okay. And next thing you know is we actually started producing these shows, and I created a company called the Class Act Productions. And we started doing parodies, and then we've done various and sundry kinds of things when we've had a space and when we haven't had a space. Sometimes we've had more permanent spaces where we've done some actual, well, for us at least, higher production value shows and non-parodies and straight dramas and regular comedies and the like. But we're kind of known around town for our parodies and our late night horror show, I think, Grave Tales. So at least currently for now.
Nice. So we've kind of been on a little bit of a hiatus.
Yes.
Thanks, Corona.
Yes.
And so how have you been faring with this? You've kind of been at a standstill.
Well, I have been at a standstill. Well, it was interesting. I was at a standstill with my theater, but it actually was during the pandemic that I went to Kansas City and shot that Christmas film. I was like, I can't believe that kind of came along. And we were all very careful and wore our masks, when we weren't, on shooting and the like. And it was a fine experience. It was kind of strange because Kansas City was kind of dead. It was just nothing going on during the day because all the businesses were closed, and so it was kind of strange. But it was a good shoot. So that was neat, and I ended up doing a commercial during the pandemic. As far as theater,
right.
I was in the middle of play. I was getting ready to open a play that I was acting in for Springfield Contemporary Theater called The Cake when it all closed up, and maybe doing that in February. But personally, there was an interesting thing happened because I'm kind of a antsy kind of person. I have a hard time sitting still, and suddenly I was forced to. There were places I couldn't go to, or I couldn't hang out with people, and I feel terrible that people have been sick. I feel terrible that people have passed away due to this illness. But for me personally, I had one of the nicest summers because I would sit in my yard and I really appreciated and kind of took one day at a time and was able to do a little soul searching and kind of oneness with nature kind of thing. And I've raised a few ducks now, and I have my ducks, and Debbie has a couple chickens, and I don't know. It actually hasn't been that bad for me. I've been one of the fortunate ones.
Well,
Other
that's
people,
good.
bless their hearts, I know are having problems with jobs and working, and so many terrible things. So I don't mean to sound cavalier in the least, but on a personal level for me, I'm doing quite well.
Good. So, are you concerned it may be hard to get the crowds back in?
Oh, I'm used to having small crowds for whatever reason. We've always had a very narrow little niche that we fit into the community. That was one of the whole purposes of creating the parodies and things. There's a lot of competition in town. There's a lot of theater that goes on in Springfield. It's a very theatrically creative space. So I thought if we could do these narrow little strange little things like Grave Tales or these little parodies, uh, and we have found our cult following. I'm not too concerned. Our we pretty much these parodies especially are kind of theater on a shoestring. So we do our very best to keep our budget as low as possible, but and still put on a good show. We rely on a good script. We rely on good performers. We always don't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it's all about telling a good story, you know. So if I don't get a whole lot of people, that's okay. As long as I don't lose my shirt, then we seem to have fun doing it, you know. And as long as we're having fun doing it, and people have fun come seeing it, you know. We do it 2 nights, so I understand. Actually, we got to work out all the seating and the like, but Nathan Peace seats a lot more people than you realize, and so on average, we may not have a problem seating people for a general attendance kind of thing. We may be able to seat almost to our capacity.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, how long have you been performing at Nathan Peace?
Well, how long is it? Has it been a year now? Has it been a year? Okay, boy. But however, many moons ago, back, don't quote me, 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, we were doing Star Trek parodies here.
Oh.
We'd float around several places doing, you know, and for a while we were doing it here. So this is our second round with Nathan Pease, you know.
All right. So, tell us about the shows this month.
Oh, goodness gracious.
What fun things are we going to see?
Well, you're going to see Eyeballs made by Reverb Roberta. We have a wonderful performer, singer, and dancer, Clara Plass. She's going to be wonderful with Sean Parker. Is he doing Man in the Woods? At least that's the last I heard, but sometimes he changes plans on me. And we're...
He is a bit of a wild card sometimes.
Oh, yeah, he is. And we're bringing back See All Susie. It's been a long time since we did that show. We did it back early on in our Grave Tales history, over when we were at Springfield Improv, and we had good turnouts for it. But I think it's been a while, and we've got some new clientele who've discovered us, and so. And we've got new performers looking at the material, and I'm really excited to see it. It went so well the last time, and as I've said, a lot of times schedules don't work out, and sometimes we don't have the biggest crowds for a show, so we can do a show again, and still it'd be an original experience for a lot of people.
And you also do supernatural parodies?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I'm focused on Grave Tales, but yes, we do Supernatural at 7:30. And oh yes, of course. And Mandy has written an original script. It's a wonderful, wonderful Christmas show, and I don't want to give it away too much because it's so unusual and so unique. I was so tickled about it. I want to talk about it and tell you about it, but it's such an original idea, and she has got this hilarious twist on it that you really need to come see it because it's so unusual and well researched. It's when I read the script, I started laughing out loud, and I saw these strange names and strange creatures in the story, and I'm like, is that true? And so I actually got on the internet and looked up the research and went, oh my God, these folklore legends are really true. Well, they're real folklore legends. Maybe they are true as well. But
they say the best fiction has a grain of truth in it.
What'd you say? Yeah, that's true. I can't even think of the title of it right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so excited about the story, but it escapes me. But people who know me are not surprised that I can't think of the title. anything else for that matter. So anyhow, I highly recommend coming to the show. We're all very excited to be back and performing, and there's a whole new tingling energy in the air that projects all the way through our masks. We're all wearing masks during rehearsals. I have mine here, but I'm 6 feet away, so I didn't want to be like this. So, but we're all wearing those. There will be a lot of precautions for people who are coming to the show. We're taking people's temperatures. You have to wear your mask. The performers are allowed to, according to city ordinance, can perform without mask on stage. As soon as they walk off stage, they'll be wearing their masks. So I think we should have a wonderfully fun but safe experience this coming month. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. And I know the performers and Roberta, who makes wonderful props, are all going to be excited to see you guys. So hope you'll come.
Okay, and what's the dates and times of those shows again?
Well, let's see. It's the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving, 25th and 26th. Is that right? 26th and 27th?
I think it's 26th and 27th.
There you go. Roberta
but my
says
calendar's in the
26th
phone.
and 27th. You know, it's Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving. All right. 7:30 for Supernatural, 9:30 for Grape Tales.
All right.
Come.
Fantastic.
All right.
We will be looking forward to seeing that. Everybody, make sure you go on the website. It's a classactproductions.com. And
I'd
you
order
want to
my
get your
tickets. I would order my tickets in advance because there will be limited seating if we should get a lot of enthusiasm. So if you get your tickets in advance, you're guaranteed to have a table and chairs waiting for you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, George.
Ah.
And I can't wait for the show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Later.
Bye.
Bye.